Hey, this is Jeff. Welcome to my video. This is another video in my Discovering Kelowna series. And you know what else? This is the last video in that series. This week, I will see the last 3 parks on my list of 203 city and regional parks, and I will see them a day or 2 before the deadline, and it's very exciting. So a couple little parks this week, well not little, but a couple of smaller parks, and then one big one. We're going to finish on the regional park Scenic Canyon. So the Scenic Canyon is a canyon formed on the benches by Mission Creek as it comes down out of the mountains to the east. And we've seen this canyon from above. We saw it from Bella Vista Park on Kirshner Mountain. We saw it from Mine Hill, and it's a major feature of the landscape here. And this park occupies most of that canyon, including the part where KLO Creek comes out of the hills to the south and joins Mission Creek. It's all very exciting. I'm really looking forward to hiking up there and seeing what we can see, and I'm really looking forward to finishing my challenge on time. So let's see if we can get it done. Hey, so here I am at my first park of the day, the Hollywood and Teasdale property. So this is an undeveloped park. I think it occupies the area in a hairpin turn on Hollywood Road, and I think it may have in the past been used for other things. I think there's a story here, but I don't know what it is. It's not just a piece of native vegetation left as a conservation area. That may be the intent now to let it grow back in the future, but there is an old road here, and signs of habitation, possibly by homeless people, and is being used by people living rough and by wild animals. And there are certainly native plants here, but it gives the impression of being something else in the past. I would love to know what the story is, what this lot has been used for, but I can't really tell during this brief visit. It has no bathroom, it has no bench, it has no trails other than the old road which runs through it. So I can't recommend it as a destination park, but it was on my list. I had to come check it out, and you know what? I'm glad I did. I thought I would be much more underwhelmed than I was. This is a much more intriguing property than I expected. So we're off on a good foot this week with the Hollywood and Teasdale property. So here I am at my second park for this week, the Mission Creek Bike Skills Park. So this is a totally cool park, especially if you like biking. Look at you can see behind me all the jumps and tracks they have. This park was built about 10 years ago and was renovated this spring actually. So there's a lot of kids here biking around. It's unsupervised, but you know, if you are aware of how much risk you're willing to take, you can practice to your heart's content and have a lot of fun. So this is right beside Mission Creek, down in the canyon, at the mouth of the canyon, and from here we're going to continue up into Scenic Canyon Regional Park. Hey, so I've come now to this wide terrace at the top of the canyon, and this is an amazing spot. We are up as high as this trail is going to go, and in front of me is a amazing viewpoint, and you get an amazing view of Layer Cake Mountain and the whole canyon in the park laid out in front of you. So check this out. So obviously the first thing that sticks out is the amazing shape of Layer Cake Mountain. So you can see all the layers on the hillside that's been gouged away as a part of the edge of the canyon. And that is a, if not unique, then nearly unique geological feature. They say there's some like that in New Zealand, but that was one lava flow that cooled top down, and as it cooled, sometimes the skin, the top layer, which had hardened, would slip, and then the next layer down would cool, and then it would eventually slip, and you get these amazing layers. So that is a fabulous feature, and you can see the pinnacle, which is that spire lower down that has either broken away or maybe got some erosion happening in behind it. As we pan and see the rest of the valley, of course, the river that you see at the bottom is Mission Creek. We are looking east, so that's coming down out of the mountains. And to the right of the picture, KLO Creek comes down from the south and joins Mission Creek down there. So if you can see that curving line, the horizontal line in the middle of the picture, that is the top of a ridge. And on this side of the ridge is where KLO Creek has cut its bed. And on the other side of the ridge is a curve where Mission Creek has cut its bed. But 10,000 years ago, they hadn't cut away that much. And that ridge, you can see that line, that was the bottom of the glacial lake. And so just because of the way erosion works, it was eroded away on one side and it was eroded away on the other side, but that ridge of lake bed still lays there. So you can see how much has been cut away. I mean, there are trees down there that are not yet as tall as that ridge. So that is fascinating. So that is beautiful. I mean, other parts of the canyon, you get to see good views all the time, but this, you can see the whole thing laid out. It's really amazing. And this spot is interesting because I believe in the 60s, it was a tourist spot. And I'm not sure what all they had here, but you could pay to get in, and there was a suspension bridge across the canyon at this spot. So I can understand why they chose this point. This is a particularly narrow point in the canyon, and it's probably where the moraine was, where the dam, that's the rock dam that held back the glacial lake. It's a great spot to pause. You used to be able to drive here clearly 50 years ago, not anymore, but you can get here by walking. Hey, so here I am down at a well-known and beloved part of the park. We are right down in the canyon at one of its narrowest points. So you can see behind me, there's the right bank of the canyon. You can see the river, how it's undercutting the rock there. Eventually, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of years it'll take, but some of that will fall down. And if I turn around, you can see right behind me is the left bank of the canyon. So we're at a narrow point where there used to be a glacial moraine, and of course a lake, huge glacial lake built up behind it. As we head up the terraces on the side of the canyon, the ground is very sandy because it used to be a lake bed. That's fun. The geology is just amazing here. Another thing that's important about this site is that this is where people used to pan for gold, and that's one of the things that brought people to Kelowna, was the gold in this creek. And one of the things that made them stay was how much gold they could get. And this is the part of the creek where they found a lot of the gold. So that's exciting. And in fact, when they made this park, they left the actual bed of the creek out of the park. So you can still pan for gold there and take it away with you, unlike, you know, how you should treat other parts of a park. You can't dig for gold here. You can't open up a gold mine, but you can go out with your pan and pan in the creek if you want to. And of course, here we are in September. Another thing that's happening in the creek, something that's probably worth more than gold, is the salmon run. And the kokanee salmon are coming up the creek, and you know, I saw them downstream on the 3 bridges, and last year I saw them even farther downstream at the Mission Creek Regional Park, but here I'm seeing them all the way up in the Scenic Canyon. So it's great. Right below me here, I saw a whole bunch of them all at the side of the creek. So it's really exciting. Lots of things to see in this part of the park. So here I am at the bridge over KLO Creek. So looking behind me, you're looking to the south. KLO Creek is coming down, heading north out of Myra Canyon. So all those trestles and all those interesting paths up in the hills that go around Myra Canyon are going around the little streams that combine to make KLO Creek, which comes north from there, and just 100 meters or so in front of me, it joins Mission Creek. It is, in fact, I believe, Mission Creek's major tributary. So it's a major feature of the park, and the trail, the Mission Creek Greenway Trail, does head east from here for another 3 kilometers. However, in 2018, there were a couple of washouts on the trail where it is up on the side of the canyon, and they have not yet figured out how to rebuild the trail there. And so for the past 2 years, to this day, that trail is closed. There's no physical barrier here on the bridge to stop me from going there, but it would not be smart, and I choose to obey the law. So that takes out a whole eastern part of the park that I had hoped to see. It was added, the eastern part over there, in 2015. So people were able to enjoy it for about 3 years, and now we'll have to wait to enjoy it again. That means that for me, what's left is to hike up the side of the canyon to the southern entrance to the park, and then I will have traveled all the trails in Scenic Canyon Park. There you go. That was my visit to Scenic Canyon. So to summarize, I started at the north end of the park, where I first off saw the Hollywood and Teasdale property, an odd little quote-unquote park, and then the Mission Creek Bike Skills Park, which was super cool. And then we headed in to Scenic Canyon. We headed down the path, and the first few kilometers were pretty flat, actually. A lovely place to go for a stroll with those 3 bridges, Friends, Cedars, and Smoothing Stones. And then the pathway climbs up and down along the side of the canyon. There's a big curve, and we headed up to that lovely viewpoint, then back down. We saw the narrow part of the canyon, and we saw KLO Creek, and we climbed back out to the southern entrance to the park. It's a 7-kilometer trip all through. Unfortunately, the eastern 3 kilometers of the Greenway are closed for the moment, but I would love to come back and see them sometime. What a beautiful park. I mean, I knew it would be. It was a regional park. But let me tell you, this park is so varied and interesting. They say BC is one of the most geologically interesting places in the world. They say Okanagan Valley is one of the most geologically interesting places in BC. And they say that this park is one of the most geologically interesting places in the Okanagan. So let me tell you, if you like geology, this is the park for you. With the Layer Cake Mountain that you can see behind me, and the canyon, which runs through Mission Creek Fault, and all the erosion. I mean, it was really interesting. But not only that, there's also a wide variety of ecosystems growing here. Down in the canyon, we had whole extensive patches of cedar, western red cedar, which only grows around here where it's moist. But then up on the edge of the canyon, you have much drier habitats. I walked through the most beautiful grove of sagebrush and juniper, and it smelled beautiful, and it was totally different than the environment down in the canyon. So this was a great park. Seeing the salmon, I mean, I really had a good time. I'm glad I left it to the end. Yes, this is the end of my 203 park challenge. I've seen them all in 1 year since I moved to Kelowna. I took a break for the COVID lockdown, but I stopped the clock and I started it again. September 22nd is the last day, and I did it. There's a few parks where I didn't technically see every single trail in the park, so I got more to explore around Kelowna. There's a few places that aren't parks. There's one notable new park, Black Mountain Regional Park. So a lot of interesting things that I discovered in the course of this challenge that I still want to go check out. So you can still subscribe to this channel. I'm not necessarily done making videos. I might not put one out every week on a strict schedule anymore, but I got lots to explore, and I really look forward to sharing it with you. So if you like this video, like it, and I hope I'll see you next time.